Have you ever found yourself looking at your fields, scratching your head, and wondering why your crops just aren't doing great, even after you've fertilized? Well, it turns out the nutrients might be right there in the soil, but they're locked up. Today, we're going to talk about the secret to unlocking those nutrients with a pretty amazing technology called EDTA-MIX. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the hidden challenge growers face every day. Then we'll dive into the science that holds the key, something called EDTA chelation. From there, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the product, EDTA-MIX itself. We'll even help you figure out if you need the granule or powder form. And finally, we'll wrap it all up.
All right, let's kick things off with the fundamental problem. That frustrating feeling you get when you've done everything right, but something's still missing. I mean, it's a super frustrating question, isn't it? You've spent the money, you've put in the work to apply that fertilizer, but the results? They're just not there. The plants look weak, maybe a little yellow. You can see they're missing something. So what is going on?
Well, the answer, a lot of the time, is this thing called soil fixation. You see, essential micronutrients, think iron, zinc, stuff like that, they can get tied up with other elements in the soil. They get locked into a form that the plant's roots just can't absorb. It's like putting a feast on the table, but handcuffing the diner. The food's there, but the plant is starving. But what if there was a way to break those handcuffs, to protect those nutrients and make sure they get to where they need to go? Well, that's where some really cool science comes into play, and it's the key to this whole puzzle. The solution has a fancy name, EDTA chelation, but the idea is simple. Think of the EDTA molecule as a personal bodyguard for a tiny, valuable nutrient. It literally wraps itself around that nutrient, creating a protective shield. This little package, called a chelate, acts like a VIP, escorting the nutrient right past all the trouble in the soil so it can be delivered safely to the plant.
So what does this bodyguard actually do? Well, for starters, it completely prevents that soil fixation we were just talking about. It also stops nutrients from just dropping out of the solution when you mix them. All this means your plants get to absorb them super fast and efficiently. And here's a huge bonus. It's so gentle that it's perfectly safe to apply it right on the leaves without causing any burn or damage.
Okay, so that's the science, which is pretty cool. But how do you actually use it? Let's talk about the product that takes all this amazing technology and puts it to work for you. Now, don't just take my word for it. This right here is the proof, a certificate of analysis for EDTA-MIX. This isn't just marketing fluff, it's the verified breakdown of exactly what's inside. You can see it's a powerhouse mix of those essential micronutrients, all chelated and ready to go. Iron, zinc, manganese, copper, and even boron and molybdenum. It's the perfect cocktail to fight off those common deficiencies. And what does that chemical formula actually mean for you out in the field? Well, it means you're protecting those nutrients, it means you're nourishing your plants way more effectively, it means you don't have to worry about leaf damage, and because of this really smart microgranulation process, it just dissolves beautifully with no kicking and no dust. So the first huge advantage here is speed. Because that chelation process stops soil fixation dead in its tracks, your plants can start soaking up these vital nutrients almost right away. If you've got a deficiency, this is how you tackle it fast. But it's not just a quick burst and then it's over. Nope. The granular version is specially designed with slow-release particles. This means it keeps feeding your plants steadily over a much longer period. You get the fast start and the long-lasting effect. And you know, when you have a longer-lasting effect, what does that lead to? Exactly. It saves you labor. You're not having to reapply it nearly as often, which saves you time and money. On top of that, its form is just perfect for modern mechanized farming, so you can spread it easily and evenly. But let's be honest, it all comes down to one thing, right? The bottom line. And by fixing those nutrient deficiencies so efficiently, EDTA-MIX has a direct impact on what matters most, a real significant increase in both the yield and the quality of your crop. All right, now that we know just how beneficial this stuff can be, there's a practical choice you have to make. Which version of EDTA-MIX is the right one for your specific operation? So as you can see, you can get this product in two different ways. There's a granular form and there's a fine powder. They both have that same amazing core technology inside, but they're built for different strategies. So how in the world do you choose? Well, it really just boils down to your game plan. If you're working large fields with machinery and you're looking for that long-term, slow-release effect that saves on labor, then the granular form is your best bet.
But if you need a super fast, immediate boost, maybe for a fertigation system or more refined management, then that quick dissolving powder is absolutely the way to go.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and bring all these pieces together. Let's talk about what this really means for farming today.
So, to sum it all up, what we're really looking at here is a smarter way to fertilize. It's a solution that tackles that huge problem of nutrient lockup head on using proven science. It gets essential nutrients to your plants in a way they can actually use, which means better yields, better quality, and less time and labor for you. It's a win-win-win. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. This isn't really about just adding another product to your shed. It's about a fundamental shift in how efficient your entire nutrition program can be. It's about making sure every bit of fertilizer you use is actually doing its job. So the real question is, are you ready to see what that kind of efficiency could do for your farm?